Welcome back to my channel. Today I published the second part of my recent video of Jaguar X-type alternator replacement. The new alternator is designed for an automatic gearbox car. It was equipped with an ordinary pulley without a clutch. I swapped it for a clutch pulley taken from my old alternator, you see. So let's begin. First of all, I had to attach the alternator to where it belongs. I did it with the utmost care, because the back cover is made of a soft alloy material and it could be easily dented. Surely shortcutting the rectifier or damaging the voltage regulator wasn't in my plan. After the alternator was attached to its place, I secured it with an upper long bolt. It could be easily inserted from the catalyzer side. There was enough space for it, you see. I screwed the bolt in with a 13mm ratcheting wrench and tightened it with a socket. As for the lower bolt securing the alternator, there was much better access to its place, so I installed it without any difficulties, using a ratcheting wrench and a socket to finally tighten it. Now, when the alternator was secured, it was high time to connect all the cables to it, so far as there was good access to both its connectors. First, I made sure the battery was disconnected and I fastened a positive cable to its place with a special copper nut, tightening it with a 12mm wrench. After that, I plugged in the alternator connector. The next thing I had to do was returning the AC compressor to its place. I turned it counterclockwise to make the holes face each other and slip the lower bolts in their places. I screwed them in but didn't finally tighten them because I had to fit the upper bolts as well, and the AC compressor was to be secured a bit loosely to let me do it. First I screwed in the upper bolt, the one on the auxiliary belt end. As you remember from the first part of this video, I hadn't removed it completely, there was no space for it, so much easier to fit it. I tightened it with a 13mm spanner and proceeded with the other upper bolt on the oil filter end. You know, I had it removed, so now I had to install it from the radiator housing end. There was much more space to reach it, and I screwed it in using a 13mm ratcheting wrench. You see, I took videos from two different point of views to let you easily understand how this upper bolt can be installed and tightened. After the upper bolts were in their places, I completed the AC compressor installation by finally tightening the lower bolts, which was much easier to do. Besides, I had to plug in the connector of the AC compressor, which was located right under the alternator. You see, I connected it by touch even without seeing it. Now I had to install the belt and tighten it with a tensioner. I threaded the belt through all the pulleys except for the alternator pulley. Pushed the tensioner towards the 5V side using a 10mm L wrench and hooked the belt over the alternator pulley. In the right upper corner I give you the auxiliary belt diagram, you see. And the last but not the least thing I had to do was to install the bank 2 exhaust pipe. As you remember from the first part of this video, I couldn't remove the AC compressor from its place without removing this pipe. You see, on this point daylight faded into darkness and I had to switch my video into the night mode. I slipped the exhaust pipe onto the catalyzer exit pipe, put the clamps in their places and secured everything with 15mm nuts using a socket and an extension, you see. The only thing remaining to do was to connect the battery. I replaced my old one with a new Varta silver. They say that Jaguar X-type was initially coming with it. Let's see how long it will last with a new alternator. I started the engine and turned on the test mode on the clocks to check the voltage. It shows 14.7, you see, the alternator is working properly.